All right, fellas. Thanks for this impromptu GOAT debate. Welcome to the Corner Store podcast. We got DeLorean and Reggie. How y'all doing?
Doing good, man. Appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, no
Pleasure to
problem,
be
man.
here.
Now we're gonna do this GOAT debate. Prior to that, I have to give some context of why we're here. So let me go and share my screen real quick. Cause when Reggie texted me something, I was like, oh, those are like shots fired. I gotta show this real quick. Let me see. Let me know if y'all can see this.
Let's see. Maybe I can go.
We can't see it yet.
Hold on 1 second. All right, can y'all see that?
Yeah,
okay,
there you
cool.
go.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. Now with Reggie, he sent this text to me. I was minding my own business. And that's, I get this text from Reggie. He was like, this is a good list of stats. The last line is why I have a problem with Jordan lovers. They absolutely ignore that. They only count the ones he won. And yes, I'm talking about you. And Woody brought it personal. He said, I'm talking about you. I'm like, damn, man, what's up with that?
Oh, yes.
All right, let me pull this in a little bit. So he only wanted me to see like the bottom information. I mean, just ignore, the regular season and the playoff. Just totally ignore that. He only wanted me to see 13 playoff appearances and 6 finals appearances and 14 playoff appearances and 10 finals appearances. He only wanted me to see that. Just ignore everything on the top.
That's not true. That's not true. If you go back to my line, it says the problem, the stuff at the top is what we all know, we all talk about. The problem with Jordan lovers is that you ignore what's on the bottom. So I just want to make sure that's clear. We all know Jordan's greatness. That's not what's discussion.
We all know LeBron's greatness.
What you ignore is his failures, and that's what I'm talking about. For you, his failures don't count.
I'm not saying that they don't count per se, but and let me forward my clap back to you. Now, can y'all see this?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. I basically said this style line only tells part of the narrative. LeBron has the ball in his hands to generate offense while MJ played in a real system where the ball was shared. Despite that, MJ's numbers were very proficient and efficient for a shooting guard in a big man dominated era. He changed the paradigm of how to win championships without a blue chip big man. Just to add a cherry on top, Michael was first team all defense 9 times and defensive player of the year in 1988. How does a shooting guard win that award while leading the league in scoring? LeBron is great. I don't deny that. My hot takes about LeBron comes off as trolling, just like the LeBron cult-like fans and media members over that overinflate his accomplishments just to be on par with Michael Jordan. Not only we're not even sure if Michael passed Magic, Kareem, Kobe, or Bill Russell. He just skipped the line to the Joe argument, and all you do is, you all do him a disservice if y'all just pretty much skip him over the line just to get him to this GOAT debate. So that was just my take.
Skipped over the line.
Of course, he skipped the line. He skipped the line. And let me share this final one. Now, this one, can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, to me, triple doubles are good individual stat lines, but they're not the end all be all. I mean, they are a very overrated stat. I mean, Russell Westbrook averaged a triple double 2 years ago, and he was like the 8th seed of the Western Conference Finals, and they never got the first round. So to me, it's very overrated. But okay, LeBron, he has more 48-8 playoff games than all these players. Now, all these players got winning finals records, except for 4 of them. You got Allen Iverson, you got Will Chamberlain, James Harden,
Russell
Westbrook.
Yeah.
Everybody else got winning finals records. But LeBron, just like those other 4 players, he has a losing finals record. So like why send me this specific tweet?
Oh, I mean, you just said he jumped the line for the greats. since you bring this up, you said he jumped the line for the greats. Your greats are on that page. And yet, LeBron, consistently in his career, has played better overall basketball. You know, you're right about the triple-double by itself in the vacuum is, I ain't gonna say useless stat, but it's not, doesn't tell everything in the vacuum. But you couple that with winning, you know what I mean, in the playoffs, which LeBron has done more than anybody ever. You couple that with winning in the playoffs, and now you have, again, true greatness.
Okay. All right. So that's why we're here. So as far as our dialogue, do you want to go first or want me to go first?
Well, it's just your show, man. You go ahead.
Okay. All right, DeLon, you can just time it 1.5 minutes, and I'll just go ahead and shoot from the hip.
All right, sounds perfect, man.
All right. Now, Michael Jordan, like this whole GOAT debate is not the end all be all. If you was to like put 3 names in a hat between Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Bill Russell, if you take any name out of that hat and say this is the GOAT, I would not have a problem with that. But you LeBron coat lovers, you all just dying for him to be the GOAT of NBA basketball while he's an active player still. I mean, the man's not even done playing, but y'all want him to be the GOAT right now, which is unfortunate. You see, like the mainstream media is constantly lying to you guys as far as like you all want him to have his off the court, you know, social justice causes to be included in his GOAT debate because you all want him to be on par with Muhammad Ali. But you all know that Michael Jordan is not going to win that argument because, I mean, Michael Jordan, he did things discreetly. He put his money to social causes pretty much, out of the limelight. I mean, we all saw in The Last Dance, which his mother wanted him to be part of some Senate campaign, but Michael Jordan chose not to because, you know, he's trying to be apolitical. When you the ambassador of the NBA, you have to be apolitical. You have to make everybody happy. Everything's about the bottom line, and that's what David Stern. That was his leadership. You know, as far as growing the game. You know, you have to be apolitical. You cannot alienate people. You can't have these meaningless gestures with these social justice slogans and causes on these NBA jerseys and basketball courts. So yeah, man. So, you know, it's just so unfortunate that you all do him a disservice by lying to the masses. Y'all constantly lie to the masses.
All right.
LeBron James, okay. LeBron is not the GOAT. Michael Jordan is.
Got a little time over Mr. Reggie Cribbs. What do you have to say to that, man?
So hard for me to sit through that nonsense. Listen, man, first off, thank you, Rob, for allowing me to come on your show and your platform and obliterate you on your own topic. I mean, that's very thoughtful, you know what I mean, for you to allow that to happen. And again, I said a little before we were talking about this in the introduction. My problem is not with Jordan and his greatness. We all know Jordan is great. My problem when you're comparing Jordan and LeBron, who pretty much consistently people say they're the top and you want to pick the other, pretty much consistently. So we're not gonna go about, you know, everybody else you know, throwing in there and it's about 5 people he got jumped the line. Come on, man. As far as the greatest basketball player ever, he's not even finished with his career and still he's considered one of that. But anyway, my issue is with the lack of acknowledgement of, again, Jordan's failures and the whole finals talk, how it's a detriment to get to the finals. You know, how it's better for you to lose prior to the finals than to get to the finals and then be by a better team. How that's somehow a detriment to your career. You know, how this year, Jimmy Butler as great as Jimmy Butler was in the finals, even though he beat Giannis in 5 games, Giannis had a better postseason this year because Jimmy is 0-1 in the finals. And Giannis is 0-0 in the finals. And somehow that's a detriment to Jimmy now. Even as great as he was in his 2 games when they beat LeBron and the Lakers. And as far as the social justice stuff, that just puts icing on the cake. We can talk about that. And again, like you said, Jordan.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get That's one of the topics that we're gonna cover, man. We're gonna go through a couple of topics on here. You know, the first one that we'll address, and I'll come to you, Reggie, since Rob got to start. We'll talk about regular season impact and the type of impact that player had on the regular season and what they provide or did or didn't do for it. So we'll start with you. Like, how do you feel LeBron versus Jordan when it comes to just regular season stats, numbers, impact on the game, whatever you want to bring up?
Well, you brought up the stuff earlier about the regular season numbers and you know, the awards that each have had. You brought up Jordan's 9 defensive or first team all defensive times of first team all defense. I could bring all that for LeBron as well. 16-time All-Star, scoring champion, defense.
I don't count All-Star games because it's only expedition games. So
okay,
it's meaningless to me. It's meaningless.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, it's meaningless. I mean, that means LeBron probably has better than Jordan's, but we can say that's meaningless. That's fine.
You know what? One thing I say about the All-Star game is that, Kobe kind of pulled LeBron's card in one of them All-Star games back in 2012. Like the All-Star game in 2012, it was coming down to like the last shot. There was like, I think the East was down by 1. Mano, Kobe was guarding LeBron. What Kobe wanted LeBron to do was just shoot a game-winning shot over him. I don't want you to pass this ball. It's mano. But when LeBron passed that ball and got a turnover, Kobe got in his ass about it. Like, dude, what the fuck? I want you to shoot this ball over me. Don't pass the ball. What's up with that?
Who cares what Kobe wants? Kobe's not
serious?
even in the conversation as the greatest ever.
Are you serious?
Listen, Kobe has shot his team out of so many games. Kobe's great as well. Kobe is great as well. But again, we're not talking about Kobe. We're not talking about Kobe. Kobe will always.
I was giving an example.
Let me finish. Kobe will always shoot. If the game's on the line. It don't care what the best basketball player is. It don't care if somebody else is open. Even Jordan didn't do that. Jordan passed the Kirk. Jordan passed the Pax to win championships. I mind you. You know what I mean? Because a great basketball player makes the best basketball play. It's that simple. So no, you brought up Kobe for some reason. Right. No,
but Reggie, it was an exhibition game.
Yes.
What Kobe was talking about was
because Kobe won it, that doesn't matter. LeBron James playing basketball. In his mind, I'm playing basketball. I'm trying to win. And if the best basketball player to win is passing at that moment,
Reggie,
or shooting at another moment, you know what I mean?
Reggie,
LeBron has shot more game-winning shots than Kobe. Hit more game-winning shots than Kobe.
I would bet that
game-winning shots than Kobe.
I would bet that most of those shots they were tied with their opponent instead of being down. I would bet you money on that.
All these caveats, man.
He be hitting.
Why does that? Wait a minute. Why does that matter, Rob?
Because
why does tie versus down matter?
Because when it's tied, he basically playing on house money. But if he's down, sometimes he may shoot that shot, but he would rather, quote unquote, do the basketball, play the basketball play.
So you're saying it's a mentality thing.
Right, exactly.
Right, when you're playing with house money, he doesn't mind taking the risk, but when he's down, he wants to. I understand. See what you're saying. What you think about that, Red?
Oh, it's absolute BS. It's absolute BS. First of all, you're saying probably, so you have no idea. You just pulling it out your butthole.
This whole conversation is about that.
No, it's not. Again, so if you can find me, I was about to pull it up, but since you're gonna just pull it out of it, but again, he's probably tied and not down. Okay. Usually they say game winning shots, it puts them together, either to the shot.
I get that part.
Or tie. So it's gonna be hard to take that out. But to say that LeBron won't shoot the shot when he's given an opportunity is straight BS. It's another thing. You talk about the media. That is another thing that the media has basically hijacked. To say that LeBron won't shoot the ball when the game's on the line because it's false. Again, he shot more games. He has a higher percentage of shooting game-winning shots as well, even though he shot more than Kobe. So,
and don't forget.
Let me wait a little bit. I will say, I do think there's two eras for LeBron, because there was a point in time when that was a true thing.
That was the hero ball era. I get that.
Coming into Miami, he did, and I mean, Dwayne Wade told everybody they had to have a conversation about LeBron taking over. So I think it built up to that, and then the media never necessarily let it go, as he then transcended past that, in my opinion. But right. So I do think that is a fair criticism of LeBron, but I don't think it's justified anymore. But it's my perspective.
Well, I would say that it was.
He has won ever since, so I totally get that.
Right.
But
it was a fair criticism.
Right, I mean, right.
Not right now.
Now, as far as bringing up 2012, don't forget at that point, Kobe was a 5-time champion. LeBron haven't even won yet.
He had
right. He haven't won yet. So that's why, Kobe was like, man, like, dude, like, shoot this fucking shot over me.
I'm glad you said it. I was actually going to bring that up. I was wondering when that happened, because I'm sure at that point in time, Kobe was always probably considered better than LeBron.
That was LeBron's first championship that year.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, don't forget, like, these goal conversations are deja vu. I mean, they was talking about this in 2012 after Kobe went back to back. They're like, oh, Kobe is Kobe greater than Michael Jordan? I mean, it was going on every single sports, debate show back then. And now, here we are 10 years later, we're going through the same thing. And I don't think that's going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's it going to change? You're not going to have another LeBron James. LeBron James go. There's not going to be another one. So
I mean, right. if you poll people, I mean, Jordan's going to win that poll every single time. So
I actually just looked it up, and according to NBA analysts and NBA fans, 74% believe Jordan is a better basketball player. They asked 17 different questions, and 74% believe Jordan is the best basketball player, or a better basketball player than LeBron James. So they just asked between those two.
Right.
Yeah, I would like to know what those questions are, because again, a lot of times.
I will. Give me a second. I'll pull them up. But
a lot of times, like I said, the narrative gets taken. Like Rob was talking about not shooting a game-winning shot. That narrative gets taken. You know what I mean? Or the fact that Jordan is 6-0 in the finals. That's what they say.
That's true.
I don't think
it's true. It's just,
I don't think that percentage is far off base, man. For most people you talk to, 3 out of 4 usually say Jordan.
Right.
That's not a far fetch.
Yeah,
I've never seen it even close to 50-50.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, most of the time it is definitely Jordan over LeBron.
Right. And
this is fans, though. This is
fans. Yeah.
Right.
And how old are those fans?
We never know. Yeah.
We don't know. Right.
It said NBA fans.
I will say that I am in a minority in our age group. I mean, maybe it starts right around our age group, because I know a lot of guys my age that think LeBron is the GOAT. But when you get older than us, those people pretty much only watch Jordan, came up with Jordan. So a lot of that has a lot to do with them. When you go 10 years younger than us, I mean, it's a whole different conversation as well. So
right.
Yeah, keep that in mind as well.
Right. I mean, I've been watching basketball since roughly 87, 88. I mean, I literally watched like a whole player's career. So, Michael, once they started winning championships, I was pretty much all in. Once he retired, we had the Shaq and Kobe era. Then we had, Allen Iverson and T-Mac and LeBron. And I mean, so many great players. So, I mean, I know good NBA basketball when I see it. So just because I see LeBron, doing pretty good and winning championships, I mean, that's not why I'm hating on him. It's just the fact that
he's just pretty good.
Oh yeah, of course he's pretty good.
Oh yeah, of course he's just pretty good.
He's
pretty good basketball. He's all right.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So, I mean, I just don't like the fact that, like I said earlier, I mean, everybody just want to put him, like, leap him over people in order to get to that number one spot, which is unfair to him, because,
he's not, people haven't leaped him over. He's earned and climbed the chart himself by what he's done on the court, what he's done since he's been playing basketball, since we knew about him. Back in 2001 or whatever, he was in high school. We first heard about him. Like since then, he's earned every single thing he's gotten. He has just surpassed the expectation.
Of course.
How many people came out and said, "Oh, this is the next Jordan," or this is even the next? People saying the next Bron sometimes now. That's how old he is.
Now,
but
as far as
people just don't really live up to it. I mean,
Right.
like never.
Now, as far as career value, yes, LeBron, he pretty much got that in the bag, hands down.
What do you mean career value?
Like, you know, basically from like rookie year, as far as in year 17, he's pretty much still playing at a high level. I mean, as far as career value,
I got you.
I mean, he's pretty much still the alpha.
Mhm.
Even that, you know, when Kareem was winning championship later in his career, he wasn't the alpha. It was Magic Johnson.
He wasn't. Magic did. Magic took over for him.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
true.
That's true.
All right. So quickly, it's interesting, Reggie, as you say about the age gap. So they did account for the age gap. They had 600 different people, and they split them up between 18 and 34 and 35 and older. 35 and older by far was Jordan. 79% believe Jordan was the better player. The younger generation numbers were lower, but still 66% believe Jordan was a better player. The questions that were answered, and I'll go through them real quick if you guys want me to
it was questionable, you know, stuff that was thrown out there, but yeah, go ahead.
It was. I mean, like, so it started off just better sneakers for fashion. Obviously, Jordan won that heavily. Better sneakers to ball in. Obviously, Jordan won that. I don't know about that one, but pick for a game-winning shot. 76% believe Jordan. Come through in the clutch. 74% Jordan. Spectacular watch. 74% Jordan. Better overall player. 73% Jordan. That one's a little interesting to me. NBA was better in the time they played. 71% believe Jordan. Win one-on-one 21 game, 67% believe Jordan. Top pick to start a team, 66 Jordan. Better offensive player, 65. Better look. I'm not quite sure what that means.
Hey Reggie, these are my answers. These are like the whole general.
Listen, I think this is the one I saw. I'm waiting for you to get to keep on going down the question because I think
better to have a drink with. 65% Jordan.
Oh yeah, Mike. Yeah, he was the coolest dude. Yeah, of course. I have a drink of Mike any day.
I have a drink with LeBron any day too.
Choose as a teammate. 63% Jordan. Positive impact.
That's BS. That's BS. But I'm sorry, keep on going, man.
Positive impact off the court. 62% Jordan. Better defensive player, 59% Jordan. Better passer, 59% Jordan.
That's trust. Right. That is the one. That is the one.
7% Jordan.
Yes. So I remember that. I remember when that came out, and I was reading this. I'm like, and it was a whole bunch of things that was questionable. But when they got to that part, I literally disregarded the whole thing. Disregarded the whole thing. For people that said that Jordan is a better passer than LeBron, that literally made me disregard that whole list. And so I remember when that happened. That was like last year.
The whole list?
Oh yeah. A little leaven leavens the whole lump. That's what the Bible says. You know what I mean? Like you put, if these people, these 600 people came up to that answer, that means you have to question every single answer. It's like having a judge or a cop that's found that he's been dirty. They have to go look at all his cases now because who knows stuff we didn't find. So that's how I interpret it. So I literally took that survey and threw it out.
Now, at LeBron's credit, that poll came out after the whole Last Dance fever. So that's why Michael had got most of those questions, you know, in his favor. So I would admit that.
Okay.
That's I remember that. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that entire list, but I do find it very interesting that he easily sweeps the entire list.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a mythology about that can't be denied, regardless of.
Can't be denied.
LeBron has to beat that machine in order to be number one. I mean,
he has to beat that mythology machine.
You gotta beat the legend.
Right. He got he has to be the ghost. He has to beat the ghost.
I think he is the ghost. I think he is the ghost.
No, ghost. Michael Jordan is the ghost.
Right.
So
you're right.
There's something there's something me and Reggie talked about not too long ago when it came to football and the way that Brady was able to take that GOAT mantle. And what I was telling Reggie is in order to beat those that are on top, because before Brady, Montana was considered number one, primarily because of his championships, right? As Brady hit 3 and then 4, nobody said he was the GOAT yet. It wasn't until he ripped away 5 and 6 that they easily all said, "Oh, it's over."
It was
it's
the
done.
fashion, right? It was the fashion how he won a Super Bowl.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So in order, in my mind, for that to happen with somebody that's going to take down Jordan, is you're going to have to get 6 and then get 7 and maybe 8 in order to take him down. And unfortunately, you might have to do it perfectly because in Jordan's fans' minds, it's all done perfectly. So that's going to be an issue for whoever tries to take this debate down at some point.
You're absolutely right. Going against the GOATs is, because what I will say, Jordan's legacy and legend has grown since he's retired. He's he was perfect. He never missed a shot. You know what I mean? All this stuff, it says he never passed the ball when it was a game on the line. Like, I mean, he was the absolute perfect thing. That's why even in Last Dance, I mean, a lot of his imperfections were shown in Last Dance. But you're right as far as beating the GOATs, and without Jordan playing right now, it's going to be virtually impossible to do that. That's why I'm here right now, trying to do my part to make sure that this happens. You know what I mean?
You're doing your part. Okay.
I got to do my part, man.
Let's move on.
LeBron gonna do what he doing. LeBron gonna do what he doing. So it's just people like me that's got to help it up.
So let's talk about playoffs. Let's talk about, and we'll move to Rob first. So we'll go and talk about what did the player do in the playoffs and what makes them great for what they did in the playoffs or the impact that they had.
I mean, even Larry Bird said himself. I mean, Michael was just like, he was like, Jesus out there about the way that he played against that awesome team. I mean, this was like 1986. So Michael's first playoff game, he scored 63 points. And, following in, he definitely got eliminated in the first round first to the Celtics.
It's funny you bring up Bird. Michael never in his entire career beat Bird in the playoffs.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Which was the best player in the East when he came in. Bird was the best player. Never beat him.
Right. He never beat Bird. Right.
Never beat him.
Right.
But yet
he did have a chance. He didn't have a chance to beat him either, because as he matured and finally beat Isaiah Thomas, he didn't have a chance to beat Bird, because Bird had that back injury, so he was pretty much kind of over the hill by then. But I mean, it's a simple fact that Michael Jordan, he was like Russell Westbrook back in the 80s because of the way Doug Collins wanted the offense to kind of revolve around him. Clearly that didn't equate into winning championships, and plus he didn't have his number 2 guy, because they drafted Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen bred into that system, and finally once Pippen played a full season, and it was the legitimate number 2 guy, that they never not lost a playoff series together. So that makes the legend of like Michael Jordan so great, because had he not went to Washington, literally his whole career was like a perfect career. But by him going to Washington, that kind of brought Michael Jordan right back down to the pack.
Yeah, well, LeBron has went to multiple teams, and everywhere he goes, yet he still goes to the finals and wins. So it doesn't matter who LeBron goes to, or what coach he has or what number 2 he has is. Oh, I'm sorry, what number 2 he has. As far as Jordan,
you say it doesn't matter what number 2 he has?
He's done it with multiple number 2s.
Right.
So yes. Whoever, yes, it doesn't matter. He's done it with multiple number 2s.
He handpicks them.
Multiple.
Right. He handpicks them.
And he's done it with multiple number 2s. I know what you're trying to say. He's done it with multiple number 2s, multiple coaches, multiple organizations. He's succeeded. Not just one, not just having, Scottie Pippen with every win you've had, like you said, every playoff series they played together,
right? They're
perfect. But yeah, you said, and then Jordan is perfect. Like you said, every win they had together, they've never lost. But then you said this was Jordan's perfect career. Like, I mean, you can't take that out. He didn't do it.
Michael Jordan.
He never did it without Scottie. He never did it without Scottie.
I mean, every player take their lumps early, right? Every player take their lumps, and then once they finally get over the hump, and Michael literally just stayed over the hump.
Yes, but before Jordan got Scottie, he was 1-9 in the playoffs. Never won a series.
That's understandable. That's understandable.
LeBron went to in his 3rd, 4th year, he went to the NBA Finals. He took a team with nobody on it and went to the finals with Zig Algauskas and Boobie Gibson and people that we wouldn't
they were still number 1 in the East. when they went to
because
the finals.
of LeBron. That's my point. That is my point. Like, he succeeds regardless of who his surrounding cast is. Now, for him to win it all, he needs a competent and great number two, just like Jordan did.
All right, let's wait a minute. Let me step in there, because let's talk about the elephant in the room. My thing has always been, is the East competent enough? Has LeBron's success been partly because the East has never been as strong as the West traditionally? How you guys feel about that?
Well, he did take talent away from Toronto, and he pretty much, pretty much left Cleveland and destitute when he went to Miami. So he literally just fucked up two teams by going to Miami. So off the bat, that's going to bring the whole conference down when you fuck up two teams like that.
I never heard that.
You never heard that?
I mean,
it's simple math. I mean, Chris Bosh, he was taking the Raptors to the playoffs every single year. LeBron was going to the playoffs literally every year. After his third year, he was going to the playoffs consistently.
Man,
so then you take LeBron off the Cavaliers and Chris Bosh off the Raptors.
Nowhere in LeBron's contract with the Heat, or I'm sorry, nowhere in Chris Bosh's contract with the Heat did it say LeBron James. Chris Bosh was a free agent. Chris Bosh left Toronto because he wanted to have a chance to win a title. Nowhere in there in his contract it says, well, you were here only if LeBron James says it's okay. That wasn't even LeBron James' team. He left too. It was D Wade's team. If anything, it would say D Wade allows you to be here. If anything, like, come on, man. Like,
that's the first time I've ever heard that. That was LeBron's team from day one.
No, it was not.
Even though Wade won a championship in 2006, that was still LeBron's team. Because
LeBron was the best player on the team.
He was the bigger fish as far as the free agent.
Yes, he was. He was definitely king fish. But listen, man, the East, again, because the only reason it's a topic, I think you bring it up, Dorian. Only reason it's the topic is because LeBron went to, 8 straight finals in the East. And so people was like, oh, the only reason he's doing that because there's nobody there. Do you know that since starting 1990, when Jordan went on his run, not one team in the East, I stand corrected. One team in the East had a team with more than one Hall of Famer. One.
Wait,
one more than one Hall of Famer?
With more than one.
Because
one team.
it was more parity back then.
One team. Who was that one team?
Knicks?
No.
Well, wait.
The Bulls. Jordan. The only team.
You don't count the team he's on.
Exactly.
Whoa,
there was no other.
Wait a minute. What about the Pistons?
As far as in the Eastern Conference?
Started in 90 when he won. Yes, in the Eastern Conference.
What about the Pistons?
Yeah, I'm saying starting in 90. The Pistons were done after they lost that year. They were done.
But they
from 91
did
on.
Didn't Jordan beat the Pistons to go to the
But Michael
finals?
had to beat them.
Right, he beat the Pistons to go to the finals. They got multiple Hall of Famers on that.
They had
team.
three. They had three.
That last year, I think they only had one that last year. Everybody else was already done.
Lambeer was there, and so was Isaiah.
Isaiah, Dumars, and Rodman. He beat them. They were 3 Hall of Famers on that team. Michael beat them in 91.
Yeah, Rodman was in the Hall of Famer then, but okay, you want to put Rodman in there.
I'm saying he is a Hall of Famer though.
Okay. So from 91 on, because that team was done after 90, after he beat him 91 on, when Jordan went to the East, there was no other team. Well, except for Jordan's team, had more than one Hall of Famer. And then the last 3, he had 3 of them. Him, Scotty, and Robin. By the time Robin even was better by then. And again, nobody in the East had. So you talking as far as competition, there was nobody in the East. The East was awful when Jordan went through that run. The East was they didn't have. He was the only super team in the East. The only team with more than one Hall of Famer in the East was on Jordan's team.
Is that due to the fact that they continued to win though?
They had synergy.
I don't understand what you mean. It was due to the fact that they didn't win.
Is that due to the fact that they were so good? That team was so good. I mean, what makes you a Hall of Famer is what you do when you play the back game of basketball, right? When you dominating everybody, obviously you look really good. I'm asking, is that part of the fact that they were so dominant?
Nothing to do with it. There's plenty of Hall of Famers that didn't ever win championships or weren't even successful in the postseason. It's Hall of Famers. So I mean, if you're great, you're great. And, you know what I mean? You know, we see that. So I'm just saying this whole mantra that, you know, the East was awful. That's why LeBron went to 8 straight. The East was awful when Jordan was playing as well, if you want to use that. And as a matter of fact,
I won't say it was
LeBron
awful.
played against better competition. LeBron
it was
played
more
against
parity.
So here's a good question for you. So you take that out. How many guys take Boston out when he played Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen? How many other guys did LeBron go through when he was in the East that you think right now are potential Hall of Famers?
Do you mean go through like he played, or
Yeah,
it was in the playoffs
he
when that
played
time?
in the final. That he played in the playoffs that he had to go through that were potential Hall of Famers. Because obviously they're not Hall of Famers now; they're still in the league. So,
yes, well, yeah. I mean, you got people like Vince Carter and, you know, Dwight Howard, who, I mean, during that time was they were on the Magic, and he was great then. Dwight Howard's gonna tell his career now, but he's gonna be a Hall of Famer. Vince Carter be
not
Hall
a
of
good
Famer.
example in my mind, but
No,
Vince
Vince-
Carter, yes. Dwight Howard,
I don't think he ever played Vince.
not a good card.
Are they both future Hall of Famers?
I think Dwight Howard is, but as far as
Vince Carter for sure. Vince Carter for sure.
And Dwight Howard
walked out. Dwight Howard, that's up for debate.
You know what? No, Dwight Howard, he is a shoe-in. He is a shoe-in.
You think so?
He's a shoe-in.
Yeah,
his second half of his career was
based off
you
his
know who
defense.
Dwight Howard reminds me of? He reminds me of Penny Hardaway. He had a great first half of his career, and then the second half just fizzled out. Does Penny go? Penny ain't in the Hall of Fame. He was fantastic.
Well, Dwight, he never had a major catastrophic injury, but Penny Hardaway did. So that's why Dwight was able to prolong his career.
That's even less of an excuse. That means he stayed healthy and then started to suck. Penny at least has a reason for it.
I mean, Dwight's game just never evolved with the stretch game.
He never evolved either. In my mind, he never continued to get better. But who else do you think that LeBron went through?
You also had the Knicks that had Melo, Chauncey, and Tyson Chandler.
They didn't even make the playoffs except one time.
Twice.
Yeah, they lost to the actually to the Heat one year.
They lost to the Heat once, and then lost to the Boston, I think, or Philly. Boston. But anyway, it was twice. So again,
my point is it's not a big pool. So
right.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm going to say that the pool that Jordan went through at least had one Hall of Famer on each team that he was probably going through.
Right, at least one.
I know the Pacers. I know the Celtics. I know Orlando when Shaq was there.
Where when Shaq was there.
There be multiple teams that had big time Hall of Famers on there. If just one.
Yes, and he had 3.
This is true.
2
and 3. Yeah, two and three.
Two first, then 3.
LeBron did too.
I mean, is D Rose a Hall of Famer?
I think so. Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what? Sure. Based on him winning the MVP, he may get in. He may get in.
If Dwight getting in, D-Wade definitely
No.
I think Dwight.
If T-Mac got in, then yes, D Rose should get in.
Right. That's a better comparison, I think.
Are you saying Rose or are you saying Wade? I heard Rose.
Yeah.
I heard Rose. Okay. Rose or Wade?
Derrick Rose.
Oh, I thought you said Dwayne Wade. I'm sorry, Dwayne. I thought you guys were talking about Dwayne Wade. I'm sorry. My bad.
Oh, you don't think Dwayne Wade's a Hall of Famer?
Of course I do. That's what I was just arguing.
Okay. Okay. Right. Yeah.
Oh, Derrick Rose is more. That's more questionable. That is more questionable. Yeah, that's more questionable.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
All right.
So also, I mean, on this finals.
Okay.
I mean,
playoffs. We're in playoffs.
I'm sorry, on the playoffs. You showed me. You showed the audience the text I sent you earlier about playoff success or career success, and the bottom line was about the playoff success.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Jordan 13 times made the playoffs. 6 times he was good enough to get to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron's 14 times made the playoffs. 10 times they were good enough to get to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
And again, and like I said in the text, that's really my issue with the Jordan lovers, because they don't acknowledge the totality of his career.
He doesn't get a
wait.
participation trophy just for getting to the finals. Once you get there, you have to win it. But he does have more conference championships than Jordan. I give him credit for that.
Get a conference championship trophy from getting to the finals. It's not a participation award.
Right.
It's a conference championship.
Right. And he has more than Jordan. So congratulations, LeBron. You have more conference championships than Michael Jordan.
He has more playoff success than Michael Jordan. Is the truth of it. He has more playoff success than Michael Jordan.
Okay. Playoff success, yes, but finals, no.
Yes, he has more final success via wins. He doesn't have more final success via wins. No, Jordan got 6, he got 4. Okay. But again, he's been there 10 times. He was good enough to get to be one of the top 2 teams in the world 10 times, not 6.
But if he's the best player in the world, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, he gets to the finals by what 10 times total, right? So if he's the GOAT, if he got to the finals 10 times, he should have won more than he lost, right?
Oh, well, that's for the finals conversation, because it depends on who you playing against.
Now, that's before we get there, listen. Now, this is interesting. Before we get there, the reason I brought up the whole Eastern Conference thing is because, as Reggie likes to point out, it's extremely impressive for LeBron to be able to go to the finals so many times. And part of the knock on him is the losses. So the question is, with Jordan, obviously, because he won every time he went to the finals, it doesn't matter if he's in the East or the West. He would have probably won. If LeBron was in the West, would he have continued to go to those finals is a big question in my mind, because that may have eliminated a lot of playoff success as we talk about. And that's why I asked, was the Eastern Conference weaker? And that by, making, for example, Tom Brady in the AFC East, clearly a weak division when he played in it. That's why he's got so many division records. You put him in a conference like the AFC North, where they battle all the time, does he continue to win all of those divisions? That's a question I have for both of you guys.
That's a good point. We actually talked about this like 2 weeks ago, as far as if LeBron was in the West, would he have went 10 straight times to the finals? I mean, my answer was no, because even since he was in the Eastern Conference, I mean, by him going to the finals and losing more finals, I mean, obviously he lost to Western Conference team. So en route to the finals, he would have definitely lost to a Western Conference team. So So that was my argument. Yeah, he would never have went 10 straight. But I agree with that sentiment. He played against Western teams in the finals, and his team was inferior to those teams most of the time. So by that being said, yes. Again, we now have some data pool of LeBron being in the West and going to the West and getting number 1 seed in the West, and then winning the finals in the West. I mean, then win the finals MVP, all in the West. So we actually have some data pool that he's done what people say he could not do or would not do. So we'll see what happens in the future if he has continued success. But so far, 1 full season, 1 finals champion, one NBA championship. I mean, that helps when your agency can swindle Anthony Davis from New Orleans to the Lakers. I mean, that helps out a lot. I mean, the NBA definitely, put swindle. That plant.
Why do you say swindle?
Yeah, because the NBA put that plant David Griffin to the Pelicans in order for that deal to go through flawlessly.
Man, when that deal was done, people said the Lakers gave up way too much. They said the New Orleans had the better part of the deal. Now, of course, nobody's going to say that now because we were revisionist history. But when that happened, it was like, I cannot believe the Lakers give all of those pieces. All that young talent.
I wasn't saying that because I thought that.
Maybe you weren't smart. But that was the overall sentiment. Right.
I was hearing that. I thought that the Lakers should have given up Kuzma as well. There's no way Kuzma should have stayed on Lakers and still they get Anthony Davis, and that was ridiculous as far as the way that the NBA allowed LeBron to have his own agency, and they can make these backroom deals and get away with it.
Again, it's you are in the minority in saying that when that happened 2 years ago, that happened 2 years ago that the Lakers got the short end of the deal. Now again, it happened last year, not 2 years ago. Last year, the Lakers got a short end of the stick. I mean, that's not what people were saying. Now, of course, we would be like, oh, of course, it was a great deal. And they see, you know, how well LeBron and AD play together. But that young core, people were really saying they should not have given them up. And Kuzma, I mean, he might even be back on the Lakers next year. Anyway, I mean, he's free down. They're like, he played a role in their championship, but it was a role that a whole lot of people in the NBA could play. It wasn't a major factor.
Okay. All right. So we'll move on to next category, which is now finals, the one everybody seems to care about the most. Impact on the finals. We'll start with Reggie. How do you think this translates into that GOAT conversation? How important is the finals? What is LeBron's impact on the finals? Why is his impact better than Jordan's on the finals? And you know what? Let me say something interesting I just found. I found a stat that we can kind of speak on. So I got a finals analysis here, and it's ranking the top. It goes through 16 players. It's the highest percentage of field goals that a player has been responsible for. So obviously scoring or assisting. What percentage? Number one in 2014-2015 is LeBron versus the Warriors. 66% of the points the Cavs scored was contributed by LeBron. Number two, number three, number 5, and number 7 are all Michael Jordan. 56, 55, 52, 51. And this is the rest of the list. LeBron, Michael, Magic, Michael, Kobe, Jason Kidd, Michael Jordan, LeBron James again at 11. So just a little bit of information for you guys as you go into that.
Yeah, that's as far as we talked about the records. You know, LeBron 4 and 6 in the finals. Played against great teams, all of which had, you know, well, some have 4 Hall of Famers or future Hall of Famers. They all had 2 or 3 at least, and he was favored to. Man, something going off over here. He was favored to lose. I'm sorry, he was only favored to win. Very, very few of those.
You guys still there?
LeBron played with Wade in the 4 finals they went to. LeBron led both of them. The last time he went to the finals, Kyrie was gone because Kyrie, you know, thought he was better off on his own. So he left, and LeBron still went to the finals the next year, even without Kyrie. But when he played with Kyrie, he still, again, led him in rebounds, points. People say Kyrie was a scorer. He had more points than him. And then steals, blocks, and assists. We know he's a better overall player. So that's less impressive. But with the Michael Jordan, in his 6 final series, he had more points than Scottie. But Scottie had more rebounds than him, more assists than him, more steals than him, and more blocks than him. Of course, Jordan get those MVPs, but as far as impact on finals teams, as far as, you know, what the help you have, as far as the help you have, Jordan by far had better help in Scottie than Michael had with any of his guys. By far. Than LeBron had with any of his guys.
I mean, just for you to bring up Scottie as far as him, you know, leading in just about every statistical category other than points.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same way in which they try to leapfrog LeBron into the MVP conversation as far as the league MVP this year, because, you know, they want him to win so bad because he was in his 17th year and playing so well. But Davis led in every category except for assists on his team. But still, they wanted LeBron to have the MVP over Giannis throughout the year.
What about the finals? We're talking about finals. This is the finals segment.
No, I mean, I just want to bring that point in. I just want to bring that point in.
Let's bring that point in about the finals this year that LeBron won this year with Anthony Davis your guy, who you think should have been MVP over LeBron. In this finals,
unfortunately,
LeBron,
Davis had a game 3 clunker, and that pretty much kind of took him out the whole discussion. So, but LeBron earned it. Congrats on him. So now, as far as Michael's impact, okay, in 1991, he played Magic Johnson. By that time, Magic, he had 5 championships. He had the championship pedigree on his side.
Yep, he was old, but that happens.
He wasn't that old, man. He wasn't that old.
He was in his 10th season. He was in his 10th season.
Exactly. I mean, when I say old, I mean as far as NBA career is pretty much at the end. Like he didn't have played many more years after that. I mean, he had AIDS. Didn't he have AIDS too?
That's because of AIDS.
Right. Yeah, he had AIDS that year.
No, he had HIV. HIV.
I'm sorry.
HIV. I don't know. He didn't have it that year.
I believe he did.
It came later.
Okay.
It came later. So.
Okay.
So LA had
his career was cut short.
I'm sure. Yeah.
He was still he was prime at that point in time.
Right.
And he talked about Michael when they went to the Dream Team together, because he, that was after the Dream Team. Michael, had he won yet?
When they first
went, it was 92 Dream Team, so they had won.
He won 2 chips.
He had won 1.
No, Michael just beat Portland in 92, and then
right, yes, right. It was right after the finals.
Right, okay. Right after the finals. So he already had 2, and at that time, Magic didn't still consider him the best player in the league. It wasn't until they went to Barcelona and played together he said, "Oh man, this dude is real. This dude
after those practices,
is real."
Yeah.
So Magic was still in his prime. I mean, he was still young, and it was, I want to say maybe 93, 94 or something that the HIV then came along. A little bit after that, but that mean, and he had a hell of a Lakers team still.
Yeah, They didn't make it back to the finals after that, though.
They did not.
Yeah, because he wasn't on the team no more. But he came back in '96, and they got eliminated, I believe, by the Rockets that year. So
he was on the team in 91, 92.
Who, Magic?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't. After 91, he was off the team.
Oh.
He came back in an All-Star game in '92. And that was it.
Yeah.
Okay, so 91, the Lakers had a championship pedigree, but Michael and the Bulls dominated them 4-1. 1992, he was going against the Michael Jordan of the West Coast and Clyde Drexler. I mean, that Portland team was stacked. You had Clyde, you had Terry Porter, Kevin Duckworth, Cliff Robinson, Denny Ainge. I mean, they had a fucking squad, and the Bulls
not stacked. No all NBA players. No besides Clyde. I'm sorry.
Clyde was definitely all NBA.
I'm sorry.
For that time period,
and Hall of Famer. That's it.
For that time period, they were somewhat of a force. So Portland was definitely serious. So. And in 1993, you had the league MVP, Charles Barkley. They had the best record, Phoenix Suns. The Bulls beat them in Phoenix 3 games in Phoenix to win that championship.
Same thing. Charles Barkley was the only All-NBA Hall of Famer team. That's it. Nobody else was even an All-Star.
Kevin Johnson was there, wasn't he?
No.
KJ was there.
Yeah, Kevin Johnson.
He wasn't an All-Star at the time. He was an All-NBA.
I don't know if he was or wasn't, but I know.
Well, he wasn't. He wasn't. I got it right here. He was not All-NBA.
Did he end up being an All-Star later?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so he was an All-Star caliber player.
Yeah, right. But All-Star caliber, not All-NBA, not the best in his position. But yeah,
okay.
That's only 5 people.
It's 10. 10.
Was Dan Marley?
You're not gonna run into too many teams that have multiple All-NBA sitting over there, man.
Was Dan Marley All-Star?
There's only 10 players.
So you think? So you say? Look who LeBron played against in the finals. Oh, God. Look who LeBron played in the finals. You are exactly right, Roy. Thank you for saying that. You're not going to run into multiple teams that have multiple All-NBA guys unless you're LeBron, and then you go against the Spurs, and you go against Golden State.
Okay, but, 96. They had the Glove and Sean Kemp.
Yep, they both All-NBA. Yep, both All-NBA. Sean Kemp. Can you believe Sean Kemp's not Hall of Famer?
I don't believe it. That's crazy. He should be.
Sean Kemp?
Yeah.
He should be.
He's not Hall of Famer.
He should be.
But yeah, they're both All-NBA. And not, obviously Love is Hall of Famer. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And of course 97, 98, Karl Malone, John Stockton.
Right.
So
yep.
So.
Oh yeah, and if you go over to the LeBron side,
Okay.
You know what I mean, you go in 2007 when he took that first Cavs team to the finals. They had Duncan, Tony Parker, Ginobili. What was the all defensive guard name?
Bruce Bowen.
Bruce Bowen. Thank you. He wasn't all defense. He wasn't all NBA though. But the first three were.
Now, if you look at the final score of like those finals games,
yeah,
it's not like it was like a total blowout. I mean, the Cavs were in those games, but if LeBron would have played like he played against the Pistons, against the Spurs, the Cavs had a chance. So, I mean, was he like too inexperienced, or like what's the moment too big for him to like not win that series? I mean, what was the problem? I mean, look at the final scores. I mean, the Cavs were in those games, so could he have won that series?
Team. He was on a much inferior team, dog. It was LeBron.
The Dallas Mavericks were an inferior team, and they beat the Heat.
League going against Hall of Famers, people that have won for a coach who one of the best coaches of all time. You can argue even the greatest. You got a few others in there, Pat Riley and Phil Jackson. But you're not even arguing one of the best coaches of all time in pop. You know what I mean? And so he was completely again, that team. No, first of all, he was also not favored to win. Of course, nobody favored them to win.
Could he have won one game though?
I'm talking the series. They weren't favored to win the series.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, at least win one game.
You got to win 4 games to win the series in basketball.
I get it, but if he's the GOAT, at least win me one game. That's all I ask. So
first of all, he wasn't the GOAT. Was 4th in the league, but I think for putting that on him even at that moment you saw it. Even as early as he was, you still saw.
But the year prior, Dwayne Wade won a championship as the alpha of that team.
What are you saying?
I'm just saying that moment wasn't big for him during that time. So the very next year, LeBron went to the final. So could he also have won a championship as a puppy, just like Dwayne Wade?
Sure, just give him that same shot. Absolutely,
same shot.
You take a Gauskas, give Dwayne Wade a Gauskas, and give LeBron Shaq, and then let's see what happens.
Hey, Reggie, they beat a great Pistons team that year. I mean,
of course they did.
Right.
Yes, LeBron overcame that. He couldn't overcome what Popovich and the great Hall of Famers that the Spurs had. Yes.
Okay. So
in his young career. Nor was he expected to. Was he expected to. But again, you brought up D-Wade. Let's D-Wade supporting cast. Let's swap. And then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but Cleveland was the number 1 seed that year. So it's not like people didn't take them serious.
I didn't say take them serious. What do you mean? I didn't say nothing about taking them serious. That doesn't change the fact.
Okay.
That his supporting cast was supremely inferior. LeBron has the greatness to get a lower supporting cast system to the finals. We've seen that. He's done it multiple times. Whether he wins or not, where his greatest to overcome the best team in the other conference is what we're talking about right now.
Okay.
And he's again 4-6 in those situations. But he has the greatest to get in. He doesn't need a Pippen to get to the finals, to be the best in his side. He don't need that to be the best in his side. You know what I mean? And again, that attributes to his greatness. That attributes to why I call him the GOAT. You know what I mean? Because he can take a team that most people would say is inferior. You take his supporting cast without LeBron on there, and nobody would call those teams even playoff teams.
It doesn't make you a GOAT. It makes you a great player, but it doesn't make you a GOAT because you still at the end of the day have to win. That's what it's all about. I mean, I'm saying. You said what?
I said it's part of the conversation. That by itself, no. It's a part of the conversation.
No, it's a part of a standard. If you're talking about a GOAT status, a GOAT standard, you have to win championships.
No, but the problem with that is, again, we never saw that with Jordan. Jordan didn't win in the playoffs without Scottie. So, but yet, because he won when he got to the finals, he's considered the GOAT. You cannot use both. You cannot say both of those are true. He didn't do it. He could not even get to the finals. without Scotty.
No one can do it alone. I mean, I'm not going to deny
Again,
that.
if you take LeBron's supporting cast, that finals, that team is not going to the finals or in the playoffs without LeBron. It's not even going to the playoffs. Like, I mean, LeBron has left teams, and when he leaves teams, they're the worst in the league. When he leaves, same, everybody else stays the same.
That's because the team is built for the LeBron James system. I mean, those players are literally just sitting by the 3-point line, just wait for him to pass on the ball. I mean, but as soon as he leaves, some other point guard wants to run a traditional offense. That's why the teams just disappear.
So he's way more important to his team's success than what Jordan is what you're saying. What Jordan was.
No,
that's what I just heard.
Based off the LeBron James system. Just like when Michael left in 1993, they were still running a triangle offense. So that's why system. Right, the LeBron. Man, you never heard of that before?
Is a thing. That is a thing.
LeBron James system. So Jordan wasn't good enough to have his own system. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. It's like
I want to go that far.
Hey, listen, it's like my thing with Peyton. It's like my thing with Peyton and Brady.
You don't have to. You don't have to go that far.
Peyton Manning would go anywhere when he was playing. Go anywhere and take his system with him and be successful.
Who?
That's Peyton Manning. I'm talking about basketball football now. Just switch a little bit. I'm talking about the Peyton Manning, Tom Brady GOAT debate.
Okay.
And you know, I follow the same line in this situation. Peyton Manning take his system anywhere because he is the important part. He is what mattered, not the system. It was him. You know what I mean? Whereas
it's apples and oranges. I mean, it's different with basketball and football.
Everywhere LeBron has gone, he has succeeded. And within 2 years, they're winning championship.
I will give him that.
So the problem is, though, we don't really have evidence really too much on Jordan, because when he was younger, you know, you give him that credence to develop, to get there. You don't expect him to come in year 1, 2, and 3, and then boom, he's gone and he's dominating.
Well, LeBron did it.
No, he didn't. He got to the finals.
That's what I'm saying.
Didn't win. Right.
He succeeded in the playoffs.
He got to the finals.
Right.
You know, that's it.
Jordan was 1-9 in the playoffs.
Okay, I understand that. But
okay.
So that's the comparison we have as far as
wait. You gonna let me finish what I'm saying? My point is, we don't really have the information, because by the time that Jordan really came up and ascended is when he had Scotty, and he never really didn't have Scotty until he was old and went to the Wizards, which at that point, you know, I mean, he played well, but he was really kind of irrelevant. So he didn't move around much, is what I'm saying. So we really don't have that. Do you doubt, Rob and Reggie, that if Jordan did go to another team during his prime, he would have still been successful?
It all depends on who his number 2 guy is going to be. Because remember, I mean, Scotty led in just about every category except for, scoring. So as long as he had that perfect number 2 guy, and if he had a coach that ran a triangle type system, which like the ball kind of touched everybody's hands, but, you know, eventually it would get back to Michael's hands. Then yeah, I would definitely say that because Michael had that championship pedigree, of course he could have won everywhere, but obviously we just never know.
Well, we do know about LeBron. He doesn't.
The question was about Jordan, not LeBron.
Right, Jordan.
I asked with Jordan, if he would have went, do you doubt he would have been successful?
I don't doubt he would have been successful. How successful is what we have no idea about. For the reasons Rob stated. He only had one system. He had multiple systems for Doug Collins, but when he started winning, he only had one system, one coach, one number 2.
The leagues are very different, and people didn't move around. When you went to a team, right, you kind of stayed with a team mostly.
Right.
They just made it work.
Yeah,
few exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
But especially in that era, in his era, like the exceptions kind of started to show up a little bit after. I mean, a couple of guys. The Lakers were the real only team that went and picked players around and brought in high caliber talent. Everybody else, they drafted it. You stayed, you picked up a couple of ancillary pieces here and there, and then that was your core team. So the league changed as well. So we really didn't get to see much of what players would look like on different teams and different systems.
Okay.
All right. So on to ambassadorship.
Yeah. Before we move on, I don't have to go through all these finals like Rob did with Jordan, because there's so many. finals appearances for LeBron. But we know the mantra, the people he played against.
Just name the ones that he won. That's all you got to do. just to keep it short.
I like it. That was a good one. But yeah, so I mean, the people he played against, as far as the Hall of Famers, and the Golden State, what they in the last two against Golden State, even with KD on there. So the teams that he played against, far superior to the teams Jordan played against in the finals, far superior. And so, and I don't think that's not even debatable. So his record, yes, he's went there 10 times, 4 and 6 in those times. The only one he lost where he was favored to win, where he was supposed to win, was against Dallas. And that is a sore mark. Can't argue with there. They should have beat that team, and they didn't. LeBron should beat that team. Not gonna argue whatsoever. That shouldn't have happened.
And that's actually that's probably the number one reason why people won't call LeBron like the GOAT, because of 2011, because he allowed JJ Barea, Jason Terry to have more impact than him.
That's your reason, but fortunately we have.
If I was to do a poll, I'm sure 2011 probably be the overwhelmingly reason why people won't call him the GOAT.
And again, that was before he had won even. You know what I mean? So that was before he won his first one. And we already know about getting over the hump and what that does.
Yeah, but we all knew that man was going to win eventually, but in a way that he went out in 2011, that was just unimaginable.
I already said that one, I believe, and most believe, almost everybody believe, he should have won that one. They should have won that. Miami should have won that team, that game, that series. Right. They did not, but he hadn't even won yet. Period. Dwayne Wade had the finals. 5 years prior, but nobody else on that team had won yet. Once he won, then we know what happened after that. But yes, so we can move on now. But as far as the level of competition that he played, in comparison to the level of competition Jordan played in the finals, it's not even a comparison.
Mm-hmm. Go to the next one.
All right. So the next one we have to talk about is ambassadorship. What do they do for the overall game? What is their impact on basketball as an overall? What is their staple? What is their stamp on the NBA and on basketball for generations to come?
All right, for me, to be the ambassador of the game, you're likely going to be like the best player in the game. And for that, the NBA at the end of the day is a business. So you have to always look out for the bottom line. So like I said earlier, you got to be apolitical. You got to keep everybody happy. You got to make sure that you grow the game overseas, and just to keep the popularity going on. And actually, the highest rated finals still ever to this day is the 1998 finals with the Bulls versus Jazz. I mean, I know that it wasn't a like an avenue for like people to like speak up, back then, but still, even today, I don't think Michael Jordan probably would have spoken out, because to me, I think Michael has that alpha personality in which he's not going to allow these agendas to like dictate him that he should speak out on certain issues.
What about his own feelings? What do you mean the agendas and other people dictate? What about how he feels?
He don't have to let us know how he feels. You think that that's like very important for like me as a fan to like know how he feels?
It's not very important as a fan. I believe that when you have a platform, it's best often used to do to make our society better.
So let's not get too far in that, because our last topic is social justice causes, and I feel like that's going to kind of branch into what we're going to. So let's just kind of focus more about the impact on the NBA and the impact of what they've done for the game of basketball per se.
Okay. The fact that his play on the court literally allowed him to be literally like the most famous person on the planet. I mean, everything, and no matter what industry that you're doing, if you were the best at that, they would call you the Michael Jordan of that industry, which is amazing. I mean, I don't think LeBron will ever get that title. I don't think Tom Brady will get that title. I don't think Jerry Rice will get that title. But for some reason, because of Michael Jordan had his impact in basketball and life in general, you're going to be the Michael Jordan of air traffic if you are the best air traffic controller at ZAU. I mean, I'm not sure who is the Michael Jordan of ZAU right now, but I don't know. That's up for debate. But yeah, man. I mean, even to this day, as far as him having like the number one shoe and he haven't played basketball in almost 20 years, that says a lot.
I tried to buy some today, man. They were sold out.
Right. It's
Amazing.
it is so hard to get them, and unfortunately, people are still dying from trying to get these shoes. I mean, as a people, we should be better than that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, as an ambassador, you should always look forward into growing your game and try to stay apolitical in these other causes. But yeah, we'll talk about social justice a little bit later.
Yeah, I disagree with the ambassador and being apolitical. Just completely disagree with that. But as far as Jordan's impact on the game is, unquestionable, absolutely unquestionable. It literally has gotten even bigger since he left. I think with Jordan, when he came through at a time, like we all saw it in the Last Dance, but he came through at a time where his commercials and one would be like Mike and all that. It was like it was beginning of a certain movement here where the athlete was showcased.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like one of the first guys to take advantage of that. And it's just, and I agree. I don't think we're ever. It won't be another saying once you're Michael Jordan of this. I don't think people will say you're LeBron James of this or the Peyton Manning of this or the Tom Brady. It's not. It's Jordan's impact in that is. That's why his legend grows. That's why kids that are born today, what I mean.
The reason these players make $250 million shoe deals is because of Jordan. It's because that these basketball or these shoe companies know how much money they can make off of these athletes because of what you sell. And that all started because of Michael Jordan. Yeah, I mean, players to come should be, thanking him at least in that avenue for what that can be done and what that is about.
Yeah. For the simple fact that they can make so much money off the court versus on the court, I mean, that gives them like the liberty to like have all these type of causes off the court. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm kind of jumping the gun, but yeah, we'll talk about that later.
We can talk about it now. We just switched it. I think I was surprised when you put that when Ambassador was there, because I feel like we can mix them too, and that could be one topic.
We could. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and just move on to social justice. It was one of my last topics, but I'm going to move on to there since we're kind of bridging that. We're kind of towing that line anyway, and then we'll move on to the last topic, which would be leadership. So let's talk about social justice causes and impact on the game. So we'll start with Reggie. Give me LeBron versus Jordan and what you think about that.
Well, again, this is another issue where it's second to none. As far as LeBron not afraid to speak on something that's controversial, if it affects his community, proud to do that as a matter of fact, even though he may lose some fans or he's too big now to lose sponsorship deals, but he uses his platform to better his community, to make us a better America. Even that's what he uses his platform for, and he puts his money where his mouth is. The I Promise school that he has, that pays everything for students that's in his school, and including them in college tuition once they graduate. His foundation and Jordan has done a lot of things as well, especially as of later in his career, as far as putting his money in doing things like that. But when he was playing, no, he didn't want to do it because he didn't want to ruffle the feathers, as you say. Republicans buy shoes too. He didn't want to. It wasn't important enough to him to use his platform for the betterment of his community at that time while he was playing, because it was better about whatever. It was more about make sure everybody liked him. Jordan said himself he would not have survived in this time of social media, when everybody sees everything you do and you're judged 100% of the time everywhere you go.
Yeah,
all the time. He wouldn't have. He wouldn't have. And so the fact that LeBron came up during this whole time, I mean, he's our age. Well, he's younger actually than all of us, but he's born the same year as me, so that's why I say our age. He's born in '84. But his birthday's in December, so he's still young and all this. But he came up doing this all the time on social media, where everything you do, you have to be perfect. Somebody can go look at your Twitter account for 15 years ago and see something you said, and you got to defend it now. You know what I mean? Like, it's the fact that he's been able to do that and still never, not one controversy or off the field
that we know of.
That we know of. Yes, absolutely. That's what I mean. That we know of. Oh yeah. Who knows what happens? We don't know. Obviously can't speak to that. He hasn't had any. Like,
look, he's always out there, man. It's hard to get away from them right around.
That's what I'm saying. When you're the most famous basketball player right now in the world, it's hard to be out there. But yeah,
he's 6'9", 60. It's a little hard to blend into the crowd.
He actually got a good team. that's
people around him.
Yeah, he got a great team. So yeah, they got those NDAs, ready and sealed, and those NDAs are sealed. So
right,
you don't gotta worry about that. So
yeah, man. But yeah, so I mean, So for me, it's like his off the court stuff, man. It's just it's icing on the cake. It what further makes him the GOAT in my mind, because he's not just worried about doing what's best on the court. But he's worried about using his platform for the betterment of the people around him.
Okay. I mean, everything that LeBron has done, I mean, I definitely commend him for it. But at the same time, Michael did like the same things, but he just didn't put his stuff out there. I mean, it's just like a generational thing. I mean, Michael is more discreet. LeBron wants everybody to know what he's doing out there. I mean, which is fine, but it's just two different mindsets. And, as far as LeBron's stance is, it's not too controversial because, he don't want to ruffle feathers. I mean, he take low risks and like any type of thing that he will like put it to the forefront, he likely has Nike's blessings for it. So
well, I mean, let's speak to things we know. So I was saying likely. You have no idea.
I'm just speaking my mind. So
I've read a lot about Nike. Nike's pretty much on the forefront when it comes to social causes, social justice. They're one of the first big brands out there that really will step up and say something or do something to help out those type causes. And even if you look at like their marketing, they're very multicultural. They put a different ethnicities and races, types, body types. Like they definitely want to expand. So I think that's one of the best companies you're going to be if you're going to step out and say something, because they're usually always behind. I mean, look what they did for Kaepernick. They were the first company to straight jump right behind him, give him a deal, sign him to the shoes, get his message out there when he was blackballed by almost everybody else. So,
and by the way, Jordan,
that's true.
Works for Nike too. So
he what?
Jordan works for Nike as well.
Yeah, right. But he just not out there calling the president a bomb, and you actually got people like Laura Ingraham telling LeBron to shut up and dribble because he's just not informed of certain issues. And in actuality, I kind of agree with her. If you're not informed, shut up and dribble.
Oh my God, no. Oh.
Shut up and dribble.
Oh my God.
Now, the reason why I say that is because, like, if he wants to be like Muhammad Ali so bad, in which he wants to be out on the forefront, he wants to stand up for the people. If someone invites you to their show and debate them, take your ass to the show and debate them.
And absolutely nothing to do with Muhammad Ali. Nothing to do with Muhammad Ali was ever.
That's what Ali did.
I said he has absolutely no to do with Muhammad Ali. He's using his platform to better what he feels is right.
He says he wants to be bigger than Ali.
Right. He's using his platform to bring betterment to his community. Shut up and dribble is one of the most offensive things you can tell any intelligent being.
I'm a black man. I don't think it's offensive.
It's super offensive. It's super offensive. Your opinion doesn't matter because you play basketball. That's what that means. Rob, your opinion doesn't matter because you just air traffic controller. That's what that means. Why you have this podcast? Your opinion doesn't matter. Shut up and talk to planes.
I'm just here to talk
Man,
shit.
Come on, man. Like that's the most.
I'm just here talking shit.
Stop. No, stop. Because of what LeBron does for his career, Laura Ingraham had the nerve to tell him he doesn't have the right to have an opinion about social issues and about our political atmosphere. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
As long as you're informed about it.
Absolutely, as long as you're informed about it. She didn't say that though. She didn't say that. She said shut up and dribble. She doesn't care what he has to say. She does not want to hear him speak. She wants to hear. She wants to see him go out there with blackface on and minstrel. Just do something for my entertainment.
Because I'm a hater.
Because
I'm a hater. I also want him to shut up and dribble. So we have two different reasons why we want him to shut up and dribble.
Well, at least you're honest about it. At least you're honest about it. Yeah, no. That's different. Listen, because you're a hater, you want to shut up and dribble. You know, I can understand that. Hers, though, Laura Ingram's, man. Right. Oh my God. Like so offensive because again of your job and because of the platform you have, she didn't want him to speak. You don't have a right to talk. You don't have a right to talk. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Now like y'all mentioned China. No, I'm sorry. Y'all mentioned Nike as far as being in the forefront as far as social justice causes. I mean, Nike's woke. Everybody's woke nowadays. So now when it came to China, with the whole fiasco, actually prior to that, LeBron tweeting out Martin Luther King quotes on some injustice everywhere is injustice everywhere. I mean, he had this one situation come to him on a silver platter, but he just chose to just duck away from it. I mean, Nike got these sweatshops in China. LeBron has sweatshops in China with his shoes, all his apparel, but he chose to shut up and dribble.
No, hey, man, let me tell you this: China shut a lot of people up, and the few that didn't. Well, they got whooped down quick, man. What was
right? Like I said, if it's going to affect his bottom line, if it's going to be a huge risk to him, then he's going to stay away from it. But if it's going to be low risk, like calling the president a bomb, he'll say it all day.
No, he speaks his mind when it matters to his community. What's happening over in China, because he didn't speak up to what's happening in China, has nothing to do with him not being able to speak up what's going on in his backyard.
No, injustice anywhere, injustice everywhere. That's a worldwide thing. Remember, Black Lives Matter is worldwide. You got Black Lives Matter painted on the court. I mean, did they win an NBA championship or a Black Lives Matter championship? Please let me know. All these slogans on the back of the jersey. I mean, what type of championship did they win? Was it Black Lives Matter, BLM, or NBA? I really don't know.
Yeah, it's not like Skip Bayless right now. So it doesn't. I stopped watching Skip about 10 years ago, so that doesn't quite work on me. But clearly won an NBA championship. Again, the NBA was using their voice because of players like him. Back when Jordan was playing, we don't know if they would have done something like this. Well, I think they wouldn't have, because the leaders like Jordan, again, were publicized by shoes too. So they didn't want to be political. They didn't want to be political. I
agree with that.
Because of the stars of the NBA today, forced the NBA's hand to put these things in the forefront. You know what I mean? In the finals, and I mean the conference finals and the finals, they all wore vote shirts. Get out there and vote. People are trying to suppress your votes. Get out there and vote. Voting is one of the most important things we can do, because we, as Black people, we definitely didn't have a right to do it. As women, they didn't start off with the right to do it either. So it's because of that, it's so important to make sure your voice is heard and to utilize it. And you have certain people in the country that's literally trying to stop you from voting, do everything they can to make sure your vote doesn't count. So using his voice to put it out there, I think, again, like I called before, icing on the cake. Icing on the cake, man. It's awesome that you have the best player in the game, the top player in the NBA right now, getting down and dirty with political issues, and saying, even though it might affect my body, even though less people might buy my shoes, even though it might be controversial and President Trump going to be tweeting about me, even though all this stuff, listen, it don't matter. This is important to me, so I'm going to say something about it.
See, my thing is, I mean, that was cool as far as putting names to back of their jerseys, but to me, the biggest impact that you could ever make is to put yourself in the same room with the people with the power. And for the simple fact that the Lakers won a championship and they chose not to go to the White House, that was a missed opportunity. somebody got to be a grown up in the room. And they should have went to the White House. They should have talked to Trump. And they could have got like a couple of things that was into their heart. They could have told Trump about it. I'm sure Trump would have done something about it. I mean, look at Kim Kardashian. She got a person free from prison. You got Lennox Lewis. You got Deontay Wilder. They went to the Oval Office and got Jack Johnson pardoned. I mean, if you get your ass into the Oval Office, that's the best way to make change. Instead of being babies and saying, "Oh, I am going to boycott the White House because I don't like Trump." No, that's not how you make change.
Best way to make change is get Trump ass out of office. That's the best way to make change.
No. He has the power Trump. Right now. He's the president right now.
Check a little bit because I agree with Rob on some parts and I don't agree with him others. I do agree that the best way to do it is to be with the person in charge. Part of that problem is, though, that when that person in charge acts like a toddler, it's sometimes hard to conversate with. But we have seen people that are able to do it. Part of it is, though, you have to be willing to play his game, which means come out there and tell him how great he is and how and wonderful he is. So you kind of got to eat a little bit of humble pie in order
of course.
Boycotting, though, over the years has brought about change, obviously, with the boycotts from the buses down in the South. So boycotting does work to a certain extent. You just have to have enough people behind you. It is very hard right now to decide the best avenue to affect change, I think, right now, especially in today's hyper partisan arena. Because if you step out against this leader right now at all, he's done with you, period. So it's very hard to get into that room with him.
Yeah, I was happy.
Three teams, right? It was three teams that was winning the boycott. It was the Bucks, the Lakers, and the Clippers. And then, you had Obama, who took LeBron's phone call, and Obama told LeBron, "Hey, get back to work." So in so many words, he literally told him to shut up and dribble, because they were so adamant and not resuming the season.
He did not say shut up and dribble, man.
I said literally.
Oh, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Hey, what I was just about to say was one of the reasons they decided to come back and play after they stopped those 2 games or whatever, was because they got the owners to agree to open up the arenas for voting facilities. It was something tangible, huh?
Do you guys know who facilitated that?
Who facilitated it?
Jordan.
They heard Jordan.
I heard that.
Being the biggest reason why they were able to come back and play basketball, because
he was that.
Actually, Michael, he was the main liaison as far as with the owners and the players having that conversation.
Yep.
And it was reports that LeBron, he was so offended because no one was getting his opinion.
Yep.
And he stormed out of the room.
No, that's two different conversations, dog. Two different conversations. Two different
conversations.
That did not happen together.
Nicely, though.
Those two did not happen together. You're about to say what a great, way to tie it up with, Jordan pulling in the younger generation and LeBron and making everybody work together, because now Jordan is the owner, what LeBron wants to be one day. And then you have throwing some slanderous nonsense like you just said. Man, I swear, boy. I tell you, can't give Jordan fans nothing.
Hey, that's why you got to fact check me, man. That's why you
exactly.
Milwaukee did not notify him about them not playing.
Say again?
LeBron was upset about them not being notified about.
Oh yeah, and not necessarily just him, but everybody. The fact that they have to then turn and move on the fly and do all the stuff on the fly.
Right.
Well, yeah,
it was specifically LeBron, and I heard Chris Paul were a little upset about it. Obviously, Chris Paul.
They're leaders of the NBA players, yeah. So they would have organized something. Together.
Milwaukee and doing what they did. That's why they put. I said most of the players were 100% behind Milwaukee and wanted to do it this entire time. I mean, a lot of the players didn't even want to go to the bubble because of what was going on in the country.
Yeah, right. But they made a decision to do it as a players organization. And so he was upset that the Milwaukee made that decision, again, not as a player organization, basically as George Hill. It was basically him and his team. He said, okay, I guess we're doing this. Then the rest of the NBA said, okay, I guess we're doing this. You know what I mean? So, and that's what he was upset about, that basically, it wasn't a joint thing they could have did it together, because it made, I forgot who Milwaukee's playing round 1. Orlando. Yeah, it made them look bad. They was out there dribbling, getting ready to play. And so it made them look bad.
They
so
was going
to
forfeit games, right?
Yeah, it wasn't the best look. But
I
again,
liked it. I liked it a lot. As a matter of fact, it was disruptive. It got the point across. I think it achieved what they wanted. A united stance, could have been nice, but what they did, I think, was, especially considering it was their city that it was going through it at the time. So I think, I liked it. But let's move on.
I mean, it had its impact, and it worked. It had its impact, and it worked for what they wanted to what to do. But
I'm saying, but could they have gotten more than like just arenas, like open it up for like voting? I mean, without the arenas, I could still vote at my precinct. Y'all could still vote at y'all precincts. I mean, I'm saying, like, how did it really help though?
Well, when as important as voting is, and we have a whole lot of people trying to, again, suppress the vote and stop people from voting, reducing voting polling locations, making you wait 8 hours in line to vote in minority communities. That is just insane, man. That's insane. When you have in Wisconsin in the primaries, when they were voting for a primary, they literally had to wait up to 8 hours to vote. During the pandemic, man. Like, it's insane.
It was really that bad? 8 hours?
Man, dog, it was insane. Milwaukee County. Okay. Well, of course, it's mostly minority.
Okay.
And so it's awful, man. So doing something like that, open up arenas so they can have a whole place to vote, where you can space out, have 6 feet or whatever, and just so could they have gotten more? Listen, I mean, it's the way to affect change. Man, it's so many things that need to be done, need to happen, one thing at a time. And that was something tangible that they had. They could say, okay, well, at least we did this. Let me get back to playing. But again, it wasn't shut up and dribble, like you said. It was exact opposite. It was dribble and talk, because dribble and has the stuff on you. So dribble and put Black Lives Matter on the court. Dribble and we get the owners to open up the arenas. So it was actually the opposite of shut up and dribble, man. It was.
We're gonna get back a bit, man. We're gonna get back on Jordan and LeBron here. So the final topic is leadership, which I think is actually probably one of the most interesting for me, because this one to me personally is very hard to call, and it all kind of depends on what you like. I think we'll start with Reggie on this, but how do you feel about leadership when it comes to this greatest overall? What do you feel is more impactful as a leader when you're the greatest player to ever play basketball?
I think as a leader, it's best to use your position to better those around you. As a leader, it can't just be about me. And so when you talk about, the way people lead differently. People lead by example. Some people lead by yelling, screaming. Some people, lead more quiet. There's a lot of different ways, especially in the sports atmosphere. But as a leader, taking responsibility and putting people on and making sure other people around you are successful as much as you can, and all that stuff encompasses being a leader. One thing that LeBron has done, he has taken his stance, his level heightness in the NBA, and made the players way more powerful. He used his leadership, his position, to make players way more powerful, have a way bigger voice in their own career. We talk about player movement and stuff like that. Now it has way much more. I mean, so much more now than it was back in Jordan's days. LeBron used his platform and his ability to be a huge catalyst in that. LeBron makes sure that the less people he's with gets paid. Tristan Thompson was a max player. Not because of his play, because LeBron said, hey, my boy gotta get paid. You know what I mean? Like, whereas Scotty was, oh my God, y'all saw in The Last Dance the deal that Scotty signed, and it's like, come on. Jordan making all this money, he let Scotty sign for something like this. A leader would have been like, hey bro, hold on. I know I'm not your agent, but that's a better way to do this. Let me learn you some things that I've learned in my greatness, to make sure you're set up better. That's what a leader does. So yeah, that's just my.
What do you feel about on the court leadership?
On the court leadership, again, we saw how Jordan treated his teammates. You know what I mean? Some of the stuff he said and like I said, even during the Last Dance, some stuff he used to tell people, and I'm just like, man, people didn't want to play with him. That's why when that questions you read when it said most people said that people would rather play with Jordan and LeBron. There's no way. There's no way. People don't want to play with Jordan because Jordan was trash people. He was awful to people. He was awful to your own teammates. Now he also pushed them as well, as all greats do. There isn't a great anywhere that doesn't push the people around him to be better. Because I mean you wouldn't be one of the greats if that was the case. But as far as on the court, LeBron not being afraid again to make the best basketball play. He's not being afraid to trust his teammates to make the shot. Not saying, oh, well, I'm the best, I gotta take all the shots. You know what I mean? No, I trust you to do it. Even as recently as what was it, game 5 or 4 with Danny Green, game 5, I think. With the Lakers, and he passed out to Danny Green. He was who was like wide open because instead of just some jump jacks before he shot. And if you hit that shot, Danny Green would have been a hero. You know what I mean? And so that's being able to do that, you know, and not being afraid of the naysayers like my boy Rob, who say, oh, he can't take his last shot. Because like that, not being afraid of that, that's also showing leadership, showing faith and trust in his teammates.
Yeah, there was a prime example. Yeah, they were down 1 point, and instead of taking that shot, he chose to pass it. So and pass the
prime example of having faith in your teammates.
Prime example. Yeah. Yep. Just to get some context of that Scottie contract, even the owner said like, "Hey, Scottie, do not sign this contract. It's a bad contract." But Scottie chose to sign anyway because he had a bad back injury, and there was no telling how the injury was gonna either progress or get worse as years went on. But he ended up signing a decent contract like the very next year with the Houston Rockets. So, but and plus that's not Michael Jordan's job to like dictate like another man's money.
No,
and Scottie's a grown man.
No, it's not his job. It's what you do for friends. It's not a job. It's not my job to to help one of my guys out. It's what you do for friends and people you care about and people you love. That's all it is. It's not.
I mean, it's a generational thing. I mean, these are grown men. So and plus, and Scottie is not under the agency of Michael Jordan. So that's why that didn't go down. But yeah, LeBron, he has the power to like dictate which players get paid because he has his own agency, in which I still don't know why the NBA allows him to have his own agency. A conflict of interest. But and plus Scottie, he chose to sign the contract because he had family members that had some bad medical issues. So he chose security over long-term financial security. I'm sorry, I'm saying I can't even say that word for some reason. But yeah, he chose to sign a contract because of his family, and then he ended up getting paid like the very next year. So anyway, now as far as their leadership styles on the court. Like I said earlier, it's more of a generational thing because Michael, he grew up in a patriarchal household. He had an alpha father, and then once he went to college, played under Dean Smith. Once he went to the NBA, he played with Doug Collins, and he also played in the Olympic team under Bobby Knight as well. And then he played with Phil Jackson. So he just got all types of like positive leaders within his playing career. But as far as LeBron. Unfortunately, he grew up in a single mother household, only child. Fortunate for him, he was able to, get noticed early because of his basketball ability. And then he was in the AAU circuit, and then he was winning, state championships with his high school basketball team. And that kind of allowed him to kind of like be pampered from an early age. So once he went into the NBA, he still carries that mentality of I want everything now, and he just basically when things are going right, he's gonna do everything he can to like up his teammates. But things are going bad, he's gonna send these cryptic tweets, down to his teammates. That's not what a good leader does. I mean, if you're
LeBron doesn't down his teammates. LeBron
No,
That was his teammates.
I mean, he was sending those cryptic messages about Kevin Love, and oh yeah, that let me not forget. I mean, this is not LeBron's fault. I'm just bringing this up just to make light of the whole situation. But do you think a good leader would like allow his teammate to bang his mother? I mean, do you think if LeBron was a mob boss, do you think the help would be banging his mother? That says a lot about your leadership.
Oh man. We going down that road. I didn't realize we were going down that road.
Like I said, sometimes I control too.
Go down that old town road.
You just waiting to pull that out.
I was waiting.
So
and I'm sorry, go ahead.
Let me ask this question. So one of the things I've been interested in LeBron's career is personally, I think he's a better teammate is in being, friends. Like I think I would want to play with him more than I play with Jordan. But also at the same time, if you want to win a championship, Jordan's method has produced quite successful results, obviously.
I beg to differ. You want to win a championship, you go with LeBron, because
if you want to go to the finals, you play with LeBron.
That's what I'm saying. Let me finish. You have a much greater chance of getting to the finals, therefore chance of winning.
I did say winning, but I said
you gotta get there first.
Well, you do, but every time they got there, they won.
But you gotta get there. You gotta get there. Listen, I'm just saying, Mr. Moderator, you gotta get there.
So my question is this: what you were bringing up about his leadership off of the court has hampered his leadership or his ability to win some of these championships on the court due to the fact that, like you said, he does get these contracts for teammates. He does get them paid, which then sometimes hampers these GMs' ability to go acquire more talent, thus requiring him having to do more with less. Is that a reason why some of the success is not attributed? Whereas obviously Jordan was in a much more structured system where he had very little input on what the roster and things that came up. He just kind of played within the system that he was put in.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a very, very fair point. LeBron's teams, have been more hampered down in the stretch. And again, it's likely because of that. It's probably had something to do with it. And again, tests his greatness. Even with the hampering of the roster, he still makes it to the finals and there with a chance to win every single year, even with those hampered rosters. But you're right. His friendships is important. The people around him is important. The fact that he made sure all his boys that he came up with all went to school. Yeah. They all went to college to make sure they got degrees in certain things so they could then come out and they could own their own agency. They could own their own thing. So he made sure the people around him, are doing well. That's again, so you're right. At some point that will end up being a detriment.
Right. Off the court, but it could be a detriment on the court.
Sometimes,
I think those two may have different leadership aspects on and off the court. And for greatness, you can decide which one is better for you.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. To each his own. It's no wrong answer. So, right. But you team LeBron, I'm team Jordan. So I'm gonna go with Jordan all day. So I'm definitely not wrong because I know that whenever he goes to the finals, he will win. There's no question. But if LeBron goes to the finals, you just don't know if he's gonna win or not. Unfortunately,
he got a shot.
Yeah, he has a good shot.
Yes,
but yeah, man.
Yes, amongst everything, like a lot of things, man. You can't rule. There's no way to really know because they live in two different eras, two different times.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Jordan never played against a team with 4 Hall of Famers. You know what I mean? Never played against a team that won 73 games in a regular season and then beat said team. Jordan he doesn't have to do those things. So, like you said, man, you team Jordan, I'm team Bron. The GOAT, and LeBron is still building. He's still building. I don't think anything he does now
Nothing's going to hurt
for the
his
last few
legacy.
years.
Nothing's going to hurt his legacy, but
Nothing's going to hurt his legacy. Yeah. So
but,
like you like you turn playing with house money. I think he's playing with house money now. Like literally, I mean, nothing can do hurt his legacy. Just can add.
Right.
But he don't need to add to me. He's already the GOAT. But nothing can do to hurt his legacy. So I think he's in a real good position right now. If he keeps staying healthy for the next 3 to 4 years, I think he's going to add to his his already mounting legacy.
Is Vlade Divac a Hall of Famer right now, currently?
I don't think so.
Vlade Divac. Let me see.
I don't think so.
He was on that. Hold on, give me 1 second.
He was on that 2000.
He was on the Laker team.
He was.
With and yes,
in that 91. Oh, he is.
So you got 3 that Jordan played in, at least right there.
Yeah, that was 3 on that same team. Yeah. That was the only time. Yep.
Oh wow. Yeah. That's amazing. I didn't know Vlade was a Hall of Famer. Okay.
If he's not Hall of Famer, it's potential. The list I'm listening at, because some people are still in the league, so it says it counts potential and Hall of Fame similarly. So like Steph Curry, like I said, Steph Curry is a Hall of Famer.
He had a heck of a career.
It says Steph Curry's a Hall of Famer. So it's not people that are in the Hall of Fame right now. So I'm not sure if he's in there now or if it's just considered potential. But
we can tell who's gonna make it like now. I know Steph will make it. I know Clay should make it.
Yeah.
Kyrie, KD, Kawhi.
I don't know about Kyrie.
I think Kyrie. I
don't know about Kyrie, dog.
I'm not sure.
I really don't.
He got a long career still, though. So I mean,
so we'll see.
He has potential. He definitely has the potential.
Yeah, Kyrie boy. You
know what? I definitely want to see the Nets make it to the championship and play out of the Clippers or the Lakers next year. So I think it'll be a good finals.
Yeah.
Yeah. But obviously, like the Lakers right now, they are the hunted, and everybody's gonna be hunting for them. So, so you got to put LA Lakers as the favorite to make it to the finals next year.
Interested to see what happens with Golden State next year, man.
Yeah.
It was a very strange season for me not seeing them in the or in the playoffs.
Right.
It took me a while to realize it, but
when is the draft? Have they figured out a day yet?
Sometime in November. Sometime middle or end of November, I believe.
Vlade Divac was inducted last year, 2019.
Okay. Cool.
And he's also a general manager now of the Sacramento Kings. So
he had his better years with the Kings as far as those Hall of Fame.
Right. He went in as a king. He went in as a king.
Lakers.
Okay.
He had some good years with the Lakers, but he definitely had the better.
I honestly, before looking at this list, didn't know he played on the Lakers. When I saw that, I thought it was a mistake. I'm like, why they got him on Magic? I didn't. I mean, I wasn't a big Laker fan back then, so.
When he went there.
Yeah, I did not. I'm like, why they got him playing with Magic? I'm like, he didn't play with Magic.
But he was drafted by the Lakers and got traded to Charlotte for Kobe.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah. They picked up Shaq like the year after.
Yeah. I mean, Jerry saw that combo. He saw that combo prior to everybody else seeing it. So, but kudos to him because he's a great executive. So, he know how to put together a team.
Put together Warriors.
You said what?
You talking about Jerry West?
Yeah.
Oh, he helped put together the Warriors too.
Yeah, he was with the Grizzlies for a short period when he had Pau Gasol and
Rudolph.
Who do they have? Zach.
Is he with the Clippers now too?
Right, he with the Clippers now.
Help put together another squad, man. Hey, man, there might be a common denominator running around here.
All right, fellas, it is 10 o'clock. I mean, shit. Once I got on 8 o'clock, I was wiped out, man. These girls wiped me out because
it's been a long day here too.
Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot, y'all, and it was a good debate.
Thanks for having me on, man. It was like I said, it was a great honor to dismantle you on your own show. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the platform.
We'll let the viewers dictate that by putting in the comment section who they think won.
Absolutely.
Don't call your family members and friends like, hey, both of you.
I think we should do greatest running backs of all time one day, man. And be interested.
Greatest running backs of all time. Okay. So who would y'all say?
You go ahead, Reggie.
Barry Sanders.
Okay.
I say the same thing.
All right,
Barry
we can't
Sanders.
debate that.
Can't debate that then.
We'll figure something out.
It's gonna be a
All
pretty
right,
pitiful debate, man.
All right, y'all take it easy.
All right, man.
All right, peace.
Peace.